Now, we've all heard that saying, build it and they will come, right? But that can't be further from the truth. When it comes to marketing your business, you have to be more proactive and you got to have a method in mind to be able to actually attract your customers. And that's what we're going to be touching on today. So be sure you stay tuned. Now, I remember whenever I was first starting an online business, I decided to create my own website. This was my mentality, build it and they will come. I remember I launched that first website and that first day, I just turned it on and I sat back and I waited. And guys, spoiler alert, they did not come. All right, they never showed up. So that's the thing is I quickly realized that you actually have to go about marketing your business. You have to make sure that people can find you online, especially when there's billions of websites out there. I have multiple different websites myself. How many websites? I'm sure there's millions of websites being created day after day. So you have to do something to actually be seen, to actually get in front of all that noise that people are seeing when they get online. And I think these points that I'm going to touch on are some things that you can focus on to help you start heading in that right direction. Now, the first thing when looking to market your business is deciding what your target market is actually going to be. I recommend you do a little research some of your competitors to get ideas from who they're targeting, what kind of angles are they going at it, and this can help you just figure out what benefits your product or service can have for the actual market itself. For example, you might see someone who they are selling protein bars, but they're selling protein bars specifically to marathon runners, whereas you maybe can say, oh, you know, I'm creating my own protein bar and this one's going to be geared towards more busy moms who don't have time to eat a full meal, so they're just eating this protein bar just to get a little bit of energy while they're taking their kid to soccer practice. You see, so you guys are both selling protein bars, right? It's technically a competitor, but they're geared towards marathon runners and you're geared towards busy moms. You see that example? And that's kind of how you want to look at it. Choose a target market, understand the actual customer, and start focusing on them in your marketing. And that's what's going to make you be able to cut through the noise and be able to speak to that specific person and be able to generate customers and sales. Another thing you want to do is understand the pain points your market has and whether you can speak to those pain points. So even in the case of that protein bar, right? I want to make sure that now that I know I'm targeting busy moms, I want to make sure that I'm speaking to what their pain points are. Not being able to have a lunch, not having time to cook something for themselves, so they need something that's healthy and that's going to pack a punch for them while they're on the go. That's a whole different use case than the marathon runner. The marathon runner, they're in the middle of a race. It's not that they don't have time to cook lunch necessarily. It's more of that they're in the middle of a race. They need something lightweight that they can eat while they're running to just give them extra energy, give them extra boost as they continue to run. It's two different pain points, both solving the same problem, sustenance, food, but it's two different types of pain points that you can speak to. Now, guys, also one thing you want to keep in mind is you just choosing a target market. One thing that I used to be worried about was, I used to always think that, oh, if I choose this target market, I'm stuck there. That's not the case. Your target market can change over time. This isn't something that needs to stay constant, right? You want it to align with your business, but it might be situations where maybe you try a target market and it doesn't work and you decide to pivot the brand to something else. You can do that. Don't ever feel like you're attached or you're stuck wherever you position yourself. Now, once you have a target market in mind, you're going to see that it's so much easier to do your marketing because you're now speaking specifically to that audience. Everything becomes so much easier for you to be able to do. Now, another thing to focus on when you're marketing your business is organic marketing. Now, what is organic marketing? I like to look at it as, social media platforms where you can post content and, to generate leads and sales, or maybe it's even things like some people do blogging. You're posting articles online and you're using that to drive search traffic. People are searching for your articles and then they find it and you're driving traffic that way. The idea is that you're not paying for your content to be marketing. It's more of your time. Maybe you're writing articles or maybe you're posting videos or photos on social media. That idea. Now, when it comes to my favorite types of platforms, I always love YouTube is always going to be my number one pick. I think YouTube is number one because it's easy to build connections with people over video versus images or text. It's much more engaging and the content is still shared to new audiences on YouTube, which means that you're still able to actually grow organically. There's some platforms out there where they make it a lot more difficult for you to be able to grow nowadays because maybe they have too many people posting content or whatever the case may be. Also, I like the fact that with YouTube, I can now push the content to other channels as well. So I've realized that other platforms can try to make this much more difficult, but with YouTube, I'm able to link to things in my description that I can push people to to my own website, or for example, maybe my Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be, all these other platforms that I might be using as well. Now, the second platform I like is Twitter. Now, guys, this is a sleeper platform. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but it's become a lot more critical for me. Now that it's in new management, has been a plan to try to focus it more towards creators and long form content. Now, what I really like about this is that I post long form content in terms of videos, right? I don't post short content like 1 minute videos. It's typically going to be 5, 10, maybe even 15 to 20 minute videos. And what I like about this platform is that Twitter has still that virality potential, right? The idea that people can retweet my content and it automatically is shown to their audience, right? So that means that me just having an audience of 10 people, those 10 people can retweet my content. That's going to be shown to their full audience. If they have hundreds of followers, their hundreds of followers are going to see the content and they can retweet it as well. So it can really go viral very quickly versus other platforms where, for example, with Facebook, I've noticed with Facebook, if you share things, your whole audience isn't going to see what you share. It doesn't get shown as much as it did maybe in the past, like in 2010, in 2015. Nowadays, it's whenever you share something, very few people are actually going to see it. So my goal is I'm more likely going to be posting a lot more of my longer videos on Twitter going forward. Another platform is Instagram. Now, Instagram, it has gotten so much better about helping creators and businesses get discovered. Back in the day, I used to stay off of Instagram. I actually just recently got back on Instagram, and the reason why is because they're finding more ways to be able to show content to people with suggested posts that they now offer. Also short form content, right? Back then, there was really no way to grow unless what you have to do is you'd have to either get featured on bigger pages or you'd have to pay to get posted on these bigger pages. Now, especially if you're posting shorts, you'll have much bigger growth on that platform, okay? So for me, I think that because of the competition that they're getting from TikTok and even from YouTube when it comes to YouTube shorts and those quick, 1 minute, 15 seconds, 30-second videos, they're now competing and they're forced to give exposure to people who are posting those types of content to attract those people. So I think that especially if you're posting those shorts or short form content or Instagram reels as they call it, then you're going to have even more success and even more growth on those platforms. So I think it comes down to you decide based on the product or the service that you're selling. And if you're selling a product that's, for example, is based more on an aesthetic, right? Maybe Instagram's going to work best for you because it's more of an aesthetic platform. But maybe if you have a product that it takes more explanation or you have to explain more how the product works, maybe YouTube's going to be a platform that works for you. Now, ultimately, I think all the platforms are great and you want to really be on all the platforms, but you want to decide which main platform you want to work on. And then you can try to create smaller content from your main piece of content on these other platforms. Now, another point when marketing your business is using paid marketing methods. Now, the honest truth, and most people won't tell you this or maybe won't even know this at all, but you need to be on all the advertising platforms, really. That's the ideal position, is that you're on every single platform. The way I look at it is this: your advertising strategy, at least for beginning or whenever you're just launching your business, is you want to have one main advertising platform, which I'm going to give you guys a few of my favorites here in a second. But after you have that main platform, you want to be retargeting people that you get from that main platform on any other platforms that they're on. Think about yourself as a potential customer. Maybe you have a platform that you're on all the time. You use either Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever the case may be, right? You have a platform that you like using the most, but you also use all these other platforms. You also use TikTok. You also use Instagram. You also use YouTube, or you also read news articles, for example, and you see ads on news articles. So the idea is, if I'm using a main platform, then once I attract people to my website from that main platform, I want to keep retargeting them or keep showing them ads, especially if they didn't buy, as they move around to other places on the internet, okay? That's the way to be able to stay top of mind. There's now a saying that people, they have to see your brand, I think it's 7 times or 11 times before they decide to purchase, right? So you want to keep staying top of mind, and that's the best way to do it, is through a technique called retargeting. Now, some of the best platforms for you to start advertising or marketing from the beginning is Facebook or Instagram, okay? They're both technically on the same platform. They're owned by a company they were Facebook, but now they're called Meta. Now, this is a great main platform